Hey everybody, it's Pac-Man from Drunk Monkey Garage. We're back with the Lumilor project. We got it to light up and everything looks good. I put a couple of coats of clear on this. I think about 3 coats of clear on this and wet sanded it so everything's smooth. So we're gonna scuff that and clean it and prep it for the next layer. The next layer we're gonna try is the Ghost Green base coat pigment from Lumilor. It's basically a ghost green pearl. We're gonna try that in the base coat binder and see if it's transparent enough for the light to shine through. If it is, then we will continue with the crystal effects. If not, we'll have to sand that back and just do the crystal. I put all the electronics in a plastic bag, sealed it up just to protect it from any of the spray, and that way we can still test it and make sure we're not blocking out any of the light with the ghost green pigment. So I'm gonna get this mixed up. We'll get in the booth, we'll get this scuffed down and cleaned and spray our ghost green, see what we get. We're gonna mix up 2 ounces of this. It does get reduced with 1-to-1 reducer. So I'm gonna pour in 1 ounce of the clear. And 1 ounce of reducer. And the instructions on this say 1 scoop of pigment powder for each ounce of clear base coat. And it does come with this handy little scoop. Get that mixed up really well. It's got a nice shimmer to it. Okay, we're going to transfer this into one of our disposable cups. I'll get masked up and we'll get in the booth. So the ghost green pearl hasn't affected the amount of light that the Lumilor paint puts off. It's still just as bright as it was. The blotchiness was from when we sprayed the Lumilor color coat. But it's just as bright as it was before I put the pearl on. So I've put the pearl on. I've got 3 coats of speed clear over top of that to lock in this layer. I did find something interesting. The copper colored bus bar has turned a really cool greenish silver color with the pearl over it. So we'll get this out in the sunlight and show you the shimmer that it gave it when the Lumilor light is off. This gives it a really nice sheen and a silvery green color. So That is a successful test. So I'm really happy with the way this turned out. It gave it a really nice shimmer when the panel's not lit. Gave it a nice even color. I really like it. The Ghost Green base coat pigment from Limeline works really well. We're going to let this dry overnight. And then tomorrow we are going to wet sand this back with an 800 grit. Get it nice and smooth. Then we are going to do our urea mixture, our crystal mixture. This is the new stuff that I bought, and we are going to create a crystal pattern on this and then go over that with a base coat black and see how that turns out. So yesterday I got 3 coats of clear on the Lumilor panel that we covered with the Ghost Green Pearl from Limeline. Got it all taped off today. While I was waiting for that to dry, I went to my Cricut, made up a water transfer decal that we're going to put in the middle here. I did use the clear backed one again so that the Lumilor will show through it and light up our logo. So before we put the crystal on, I also cut out a vinyl stencil just to block off that portion from getting the crystal on it. And then we're going to get in the booth and cover everything with plastic and put on our urea mixture. So we're in the paint booth. So the way I apply the crystal solution is I just pour it into a mixing cup and dip a clean microfiber cloth into it and wipe it on. So we're going to get to doing that. I'll give you a close-up of that and show you what that process looks like. Not going to need a lot. This is a small panel. Just want to get enough in there to soak the rag pretty good. So then we just dip our rag in, soak up that solution, get enough on there to cover the whole panel evenly. And we just wipe it on. And try not to have any of those bubbles. Once you see the first crystals start to form, you can pinpoint with the skewer. It's just a regular wooden skewer for like doing shish kebabs and stuff. And you just set the point on there, twist it a little bit. And what that does is give the crystals a point to start forming. beginning to form, so I will zoom in for you. Try to get a light on here. This has given us some really amazing crystals. Love the pattern on this. We've got a few bigger spikes of crystals mixed in with a few smaller ones. This is gonna look really cool. You can see here, here, a couple other spots where I use the skewer to start the crystals after it started forming around the edges. It's important to wait until then because that's when it's ready to desaturate and turn to crystal and start evaporating. If you do it before that, it doesn't give you as good a result. So now we just have to let all the moisture evaporate off of this, and then we can coat it with some Lumilor black base coat paint. I usually thin that out a little more than normal because you want this base coat overcoat to go on really thin. You don't want to saturate the crystals, otherwise it'll destroy them. So just for reference, we've got 52% humidity, which is in the comfort zone. and 77 degrees today in the shop. So the conditions are actually pretty optimal for the crystallization today. So I'm glad I didn't get a chance to do it until today. So this has given us about the best crystals we could get. So I've got some Lime black base coat. It's a 1-to-1 mixture with urethane reducer. I've got some of that pre-mixed. What we're going to do is put that in the cup and then reduce that down a little bit more. I want a really thin mixture. I'm going to go about 45 milliliters. Don't need a whole lot. Like I said, this is pre-mixed, but we're going to add a little bit more reducer. An extra 20%. If I had a smaller area, I would probably be doing this part with a airbrush. But we're going to use the Little Beast 0.8 tip. We're going to lower our pressure down a little bit. Try to get a good spray on this without disturbing the crystals. We'll get back in the booth and see if that crystal has evaporated all the moisture out of it. Okay, so I'm not going to close up the booth or anything for this because we're spraying such a small amount of paint. It's almost like spraying out of a spray can. So I've got my other camera set up to get a close-up of how I'm spraying this. I'm going to get my mask on. We'll get my settings here for you. I'm going to turn my fan almost all the way out, maybe a quarter turn in. Fluid, I'm going to turn down to 1 turn out. Air pressure, I'm going to drop down to about 28 PSI. We'll see how that works. Let me get my mask on. We'll get to it. Okay, these settings look really good. I'm getting just like a mist coming out of here, which is exactly what we want on this crystal so we don't dissolve it and disturb it. So we're gonna get to spraying some light coats on this, and I'll see you when we're done. I'll let that dry for about 5 minutes and then we'll throw on another coat. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes. Our first coat's dry. We're gonna throw a second mist coat on there to see how well we get the coverage. Looking really good at this point. We're going to give this one 5 minutes to dry. And then maybe one more light mist coat. Okay, so this will be the final mist coat on over our crystal. Went with a black top coat. It should contrast well with the Lumilor lighted paint behind it. So we're gonna get this last coat on, and then I'll show you how I scuff it off and leave the crystal pattern. And that's it. We've got full coverage over all of our crystal. You want to think of this kind of like doing a lace pattern. You don't want to saturate everything so it bleeds under. In the same way, you don't want to saturate this, because what it'll do is dissolve the crystals. If you get the crystals too wet before the paint has a chance to dry, the crystals will dissolve back into a liquid form, and that'll ruin your whole result. So light mist coats with low pressure is really a key to this. So we're going to let this dry, not too long, maybe 10 minutes, and then I'll show you how we scuff it off and leave the crystal pattern. So our panel's dried for about 10 minutes. What I've got is just a little bit of soapy water. It's just regular tap water with a couple of drops of Dawn dishwashing liquid. And a well-used gray Scotch-Brite pad. Now all we're gonna do is we're gonna let some of the water drip on here, get it nice and wet, and then we're just gonna just glide over it. This crystal will dissolve pretty easily. If you're having a scrub, you've put the black overcoat on a little bit too much. As you can see on our stencil, we're getting a really good pattern there already. And the mixture wasn't even really going on that very well. Wasn't sticking to it. So we just keep going over this. Very lightly. And grab a rag so we can wipe this off. Way too many bubbles there. Yeah, you just want to keep going lightly. Like I said, the key to getting a good pattern, as long as you have a good solution, is spraying those light overcoats on it. That way you can scrape off the crystals without scraping the paint off of the spaces in between. Like I said, I'm just gliding over this. Barely putting any pressure on it at all. concentrate in one spot too much. You can dry this off every once in a while. Just kind of look at it from an angle and you'll be able to see those crystals that you missed. You want to try to get all those off to give yourself a really nice pattern. I can't wait to see that lit up. It looks really cool. So we got it all unmasked. Got the area for the Drunk Monkey logo decal to go on. What I wanted to do is make sure it still lights up before we go any further. So there we go. Still as bright as ever. Shows up nicely through the black crystal. I really like it. But before we do anything else, we are going to put 3 coats of clear on this. Let that dry overnight, and then I want to mask off and do a candy on this. This video is getting to be a little bit long, so we're going to wrap this one up here. We've successfully got the crystal pattern put over our Lumilor lighted paint. I think it looks incredible. We've got the clear coat on there. I put 3 coats of speed clear on this to lock everything down and give us a good base for our candy. We're going to do that in the next video. If you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon for notifications of future videos. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up with this helmet yet. We're going to do a border. We're going to do a candy over the crystal pattern. And we're also going to be applying our logo to the middle here. And it's printed on a clear transfer paper in order for it to light up. So you don't want to miss those videos. And until we see you in the next video, cheers.